Crews are working behind me right now to clean up the roof that was detached from the Masonic Lodge here at 9th Street and County Road West from last evening's storms. It's been a tough day for them. Live wires were strewn about in the street. Those have since been cleaned up. I spoke to Secretary of the Masonic Lodge, Frank Berkeley. He tells me the building's been around since 1958, but the roof is about 20 years old. This is just one damaged site, though, here in Odessa today. Over at 57th and Benefield Avenue, a roof was taken down. Not quite of this magnitude, but it was also created a problem. Crews were cleaning that up this morning. At the Hemingway House Apartments, a tree was uprooted by a downburst, and over on 52nd and Everglade, a trampoline was bounced through a fence and taken across the street, hitting a car. But more forecasted storms are coming through tonight. Residents in Odessa are just hoping that the damage tomorrow won't be as bad as it was today. Reporting in Odessa, I'm Beau Berman for CBS 7 News. Right now behind me, these booths are empty, but they won't be later tonight whenever they're filled with food and games, all part of the celebration of the Juneteenth Festival here at Woodson Park in Odessa. The festivities will officially kick off later tonight with a pageant, a talent show, and a variety of other festivities, music carrying on later into the night, all taking place on the stage over here to my right. The festivities will also continue the rest of the weekend through Sunday with a parade going on Saturday night and a basketball tournament both Friday and Saturday. Everyone's excited despite the heat out here, and they're proud of what this festival is, what it represents, and also hoping to have a lot of fun this weekend. Reporting in Odessa, I'm Beau Berman, CBS 7 News. I'm up here right now on the roof of the Ector County Coliseum. Over here to my right is Mike of the 99 Kicks Morning Show and his son Eric. They've been up here now for over 25 hours in sweltering heat, all to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. And if the Roughnecks game sells out this Saturday, the team's going to donate $10,000 to the CMN. Eric was born prematurely and benefited from the Children's Miracle Network and care he received at Medical Center Hospital, and that's their inspiration. Last year, they reached their goal of a sellout for the Roughnecks game, but it came down to the last hours and the help of some last-minute anonymous donors who bought hundreds of tickets. Mike now refers to those individuals as angels. Now, the guys still have about 52 hours left up here on the roof and 2,200 tickets to sell. Their hope is that the weather holds out and they reach their goal, even if it takes some help from an angel. Up here on the roof of the Coliseum, I'm Beau Berman for CBS 7 News.
It's been too long. No.
Treating buyers as friends, not just customers. That's Kathy Easton's philosophy, and recently it paid off when she got a pleasant surprise.
That we have been selected to be in the top 50 designer retail stores in the nation.
She'll be the first to tell you what drives sales at her store.
It's because of my clients, and they have great taste in jewelry.
And she even told me one of her secrets.
The secret to buying designer jewelry is to stay very up on the trends and on what people are wearing.
Aside from exemplary customer service and a unique selection, another factor helps business as well.
It's definitely lots more fun when the economy is doing so well. And there's a lot of my jeweler friends that would love to have a store in Midland, Texas right now.
Her featured collections range from 24-karat gold to men's watches, but she notes it's exclusivity that keeps the customers coming back. And of course, the location didn't hurt on her way to being named in the top 1% of the country.
And it's just been great. Absolutely enjoyed the location.
I proceeded to call the police, and I told them that they needed to get to the park because we had a situation that was out of control.
The situation President Littleton of the BCCO describes started just before the annual Juneteenth Festival was to present free barbecue to attendees. Health department officials arrived and instructed them to throw the food away.
The representatives from the county health department were belligerent, were even threatening. They tried to confiscate food. They even threatened to contaminate the food so it could not be served.
The discrepancy was largely based on one term, food establishment. The BCCO, which had been serving its free barbecue for 11 previous years, thought it was not an establishment.
I have to disagree. They came in a couple of days prior. They were told that the event required us to inspect the food and that no food could be prepared at home.
Both sides disagree as to what was actually said during the argument.
The employee, not the supervisor, but the employee had the nerve to say, you call whoever you want to, because if you serve this meat, you are going to jail.
That's right, there have been more trains coming through our area. Local residents have both seen them and heard them. Now, I spoke to a Union Pacific official yesterday who told me the cause of all these extra trains coming through our area is actually the flooding in Iowa. What's happened is some of the railways up there have experienced water damage, forcing the company to reroute about 10 to 12 trains per day down through our area in the south instead of the Midwest. The official tells me this should all be wrapped up by the end of the week, but until then, local residents should make sure they take precaution, as always, when crossing railways. For CBS 7 News, I'm Beau Berman. That's right, here at the West Texas Food Bank, they are having trouble supplying local organizations, one of such being Catholic Charities, who last year had a good supply of beans, corn, and rice. But this year, they're having trouble coming up with that supply. I spoke to an official here at the food bank, and she told me there's several reasons for the shortage, one being fuel prices, as the cost of diesel has gone up and they have to truck the food in. Another is a lack of volunteers. And thirdly, commodity prices have also had an effect on your staple foods like grains. Another factor is the large coverage area, as they deal with 22 counties here. That makes up 1/5 of Texas. But she tells me there is hope as they work with new sources of donations and also demand calms down in the fall. But always remember that they're looking for donations and volunteers here at the food bank. So if you have the chance to donate or volunteer, that's greatly appreciated. Reporting in Odessa, I'm Beau Berman for CBS 7 News. You may have seen fireworks just like these at your local Target or Walmart stores, but in fact, they're not fireworks at all. I spoke to the assistant fire marshal at the Odessa department earlier today, and he told me there's quite a difference between actual fireworks and these novelty items. The difference being that actual fireworks have black gunpowder in them, therefore putting them at risk for starting grass fires across the area, something Ector County is not looking to have this time of year. Now remember, just because these novelty items aren't at risk for starting a fire, that doesn't mean that they're not dangerous, and users should take extreme precaution when operating them. And also remember that the fireworks ban is still in effect in Ector County. Reporting in Odessa, I'm Beau Berman, CBS 7 News. Smoke, flames, and water. They were all part of the scene just after 9 o'clock this morning as crews attempted to fight the fire at the Coventry Point Apartments. They manned their hoses and did their best to extinguish the 2,000-degree flames.
The fire spread quickly, moving from north to south. The roof structure became compromised. The battalion chief removed everybody, and they went defensive.
Complex resident Mike Podubsky's apartment was safe from the fire, so he used his camera phone to shoot video of the flames.
Yeah, I seen smoke right here at this left side right here, and then a big ball of flame right here.
His apartment was safe, but he was surprised by the risks some of his neighbors took saving their electronics.
When the flames got bigger, that's when they started running into the apartment.
Really? Wow. So what were your first thoughts when you saw that?
I just couldn't believe it. I was just in total shock. You would not expect somebody to do that.
Other residents were just grateful that no one was hurt.
Now, I realized my wife could have still been in there because she works nights. She's a nurse, and she could have been sleeping in there. So, I'm just glad, nobody was hurt. Her and my kids were gone, so.
Fireworks stands all across the area had to shut their doors, just like this one right behind me you see here on Highway 191. It all happened after the governor declared his ban on fireworks. However, the water you see behind me here is remnants of rain we've had over the past few nights. It's rain that has lowered the drought index, making it a possibility that we may see the burn ban and the ban on fireworks rescinded for the upcoming July 4th holiday. Now, I spoke to Ector County Commissioner Freddie Gardner earlier today, and he told me the chance varies. He said that Judge Susan Redford of Ector County has been in talks with the governor who has received many phone calls about this issue, whether or not people will be able to use fireworks this holiday. Coming up at 6, we'll have more details on the possibility that this ban is actually lifted. Reporting in Midland County, I'm Beau Berman, CBS 7 News.
When you talk about job creation, up to 500 jobs, those are conservative estimates. I've heard numbers could be over 1,000 jobs.
Robert Tobias and the city of Pecos are very excited about those jobs. He runs the Pecos Economic Development Corporation, which is planning for the arrival of a new Texan plant, rail yard, and accompanying industrial park. And he thinks Pecos is the perfect location.
As Texan did to acquire a 500-acre tract, there aren't very many other places anywhere in West Texas where you could acquire 500 acres adjacent to both an interstate and a main rail line.
What appears to be just a barren tract of land here behind me on County Road 408 just outside of Pecos is actually the future site of the Texan Company's development, a project that figures to help the Pecos area in numerous ways.
What we're looking at now, we're working with an Austin developer to build an apartment complex, could be up to 100 units.
Housing like that is a part of the city's plan to accommodate the huge influx of people that will in turn help Pecos.
It will provide opportunities for folks that live in Pecos that want to work at enhancing their skill.
The Texan plant's product will supply the oil and gas industry, and the expectation is that many oil services companies will be attracted to lease at the complex park. With your eye on Pecos, Beau Berman, CBS 7 News. Rick Davidson's worked oil fields for over 20 years, but he's never seen anything quite like this.
We saw what appeared to be oil, and it was shooting up out of the ground, literally just spurting up like a sprinkler system.
Friend Paul thought it was just a small discovery.
He said, nah, and we thought maybe it was a septic system.
But this was no filthy find.
We've been here for a little over an hour, and you can see it has grown immensely.
He'd like to see his newfound black turn to gold.
So we were hoping to get a reward.
Because every good Samaritan has his price.
Concern for the public safety, but we can be bought.
No pump jacks just yet, but the product will hit the market one way or another. You gonna sell this on eBay?
Somebody will buy it, I will.
Right now, I'm sitting inside a trailer here in the city of Andrews, right behind the Hillcrest Motel. There's about 20 or so of them out here behind the motel, and it's a living option that more and more residents are turning to. Why, you ask? Well, it's because of a housing shortage here in Andrews. There's just simply not many places to live. And here in these trailers, they get the option of having a plasma television, a DVD player, nice refrigerator, and even a microwave right at their fingertips. It's an option that many are turning to, even though it comes at a premium price. It's $1,250 all the way up to $1,500 a month to live in one of these trailers, but it appears to be a premium price that workers are willing to pay. With your eye on Andrews, Beau Berman, CBS 7 News. Plasma TVs, DVD players, daily maid service, and a $1,200 per month rent. Sounds like an upscale condo. Well, that also describes trailers in Andrews. But are trailers, some of them former FEMA trailers, worth the price?
There's no place to live here right now, and everything's furnished, and it's close right here to where everybody's working at.
Motels are an option, but with full kitchens, city water hookups, and 3 beds, workers are choosing the trailers.
We're pretty full all the time, and then as soon as one gets out, we've got a list of people just waiting to get into another one. And right now, we're no vacancy in all our trailers.
Oil field workers and others from a nuclear enrichment plant make up the influx of new residents. But the City of Andrews Public Works Director Mitch Grant has a plan.
An additional 200 lots from residential developments, or maybe even more than that.
Grant sees this all as good news for Andrews.
You know, if they can pay a little extra and somebody to actually keep their house clean and you know, pretty nice deal. You know, these FEMA trailers, they're just really basic living quarters. I mean, there's not much to them, but it's a smart idea what they had.
Unfolding treasures in someone else's trash. It's the motto bargain hunters follow every weekend.
Especially like toys, there's really good bargains for that.
With every price tag, sellers hope to clear their stuff while making a buck.
take your day and do this?
Because we've got too much junk.
So much junk has been sold already. There were 46 sales held in Odessa just this weekend. But when cleaning house, sellers need to remember that signs placed on public property are considered litter, and the city is using technology to crack down.
We will have laptop computers that will have internet access so we can quickly determine ownerships of properties.
With high prices everywhere else, these shoppers are hoping to save a little.
People are looking for a deal, just trying to save money and instead of going to the malls or the stores.
And have a good time while doing it.
It's fun. It's fun to go look around and see other things and just hang around.
I think everyone in the district, everyone in the community, everyone in the state is feeling the pinch of the higher gas prices.
It's quite a pinch, and the ECISD board is afraid it might cause key workers to quit.
All the workers help ECISD carry out its mission.
The money to fuel that mission was today's topic at the ECISD budget workshop, where a $250 one-time fuel allowance was proposed.
And it seems to me just logical and also really compassionate of the district to offer that one-time gas allowance for our lower-paid employees.
The district's fuel costs increased $600,000 this year, and the burden is felt mostly by bus drivers, lunch ladies, and teachers' assistants.
We were wanting to pay particular attention to those that are at the lower end of the pay scale.
That's right, it's an apartment complex where, as you can see, children play outside, people come home from jobs late at night in the dark, and I spoke to some residents earlier today, and they told me they're disappointed to have learned of Saturday's assault from CBS 7 and not from Northridge Apartments.
See, that stuff needs to be told to people that live on the premises.
Megan Clark was sexually assaulted at her apartment a month ago. She had no idea an assault occurred just 3 days ago.
But for me to find out that it's happened again is kind of scary because I would like to know that information.
Northridge management notified residents after 2 attacks earlier in the summer. This time they chose not to, but residents say they would like a heads up.
It's nice to know that they're going to tell you to watch your back.
Management is aware of Saturday's assault, but says it wasn't bad enough this time for residents to be told.
Yeah, we need to be aware of what's going on. This is our little community.
Others disagree. Now, I spoke with a sergeant from the Midland Police Department earlier today. He told me one option for complexes is to have a security guard on site at all times, and he said it'll be interesting to see if Northridge Complex eventually notifies the residents of Saturday's incident. Reporting in Midland, Beau Berman, CBS 7 News. Just this past Saturday, an assault took place at a Midland apartment complex, and residents are angry at management not for what they've done, but what they haven't done.
Well, I think they just need to notify us. I mean, somehow.
We'll have more on that story coming up at 6.